Okay, my friends, here we go.
In 500
Yet
feet,
again.
turn left onto Little Whale Neck Road.
It is very early Sunday morning, considering the fact that the clocks have just been turned forward. So
now turn left onto Little Whale Neck Road.
We lost an hour sleep last night, which is never good for me because I don't sleep well these days. But here it is. It's a beautiful morning, and I am on my way to get my car supercharged, which takes me back to, this has got to be, I think, the 6th video I've attempted to make. I started it right after the last one I put out, but unfortunately my friend Ken had unwittingly shared some kind of virus with me that turned out to be absolutely horrific. I don't typically get upper respiratory things,
in
but this was
feet,
nasty.
Stay straight to take the Southern State Parkway East ramp.
Every time I tried to make a video, I would either have a coughing fit or I didn't have a cohesive thought.
Now stay straight to take the Southern State Parkway East ramp.
She's going to be joining us for the ride. I hope you don't mind. Okay, so I am now preconditioning my car to be able to supercharge at its optimal level. So I think I'm about 8 miles away from the supercharger. So again, that answers the question of what car I got. I did get the Tesla, and I did notice that somebody in a comment somewhere had made a negative comment about it, and that it kind of takes me to another place because it is so easy to be a keyboard warrior and sit there and write things about somebody else's life about whom you have really very little information, and to cast aspersions or to suggest that somebody is doing something positive or negative based upon your judgment of it, I think is, I don't know whether to call it irresponsible, but it's certainly not kind. And I think this world needs so much more kindness. I really do. I think we lead with kindness, and we'll help each other so much more, and we'll help ourselves. Okay, enough for that. Now back to the car. The reason I chose the car, I was at the point in which my old lease was up. I had to get a new car. I looked at getting another Hyundai. Although I really didn't love my experience of Hyundai with the company Hyundai. It was not my best ever leasing experience. Nothing terrible, but it was not something that I would have necessarily chosen again. But I wanted to get a hybrid, or I wanted to get, well, definitely if I stayed with Hyundai, I wanted a hybrid, because I wanted to have a car. I wanted to have a car that would get good mileage, because I was getting killed on gas. So at some point, when I went back to Hyundai to try to get a hybrid, and I looked at the Sonata hybrid, because the Sonata is what I had, and I looked at the Tucson hybrid because I loved the Tucson. The price that they quoted me was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. In all fairness, I had gone over my mileage allotment on the old car, and of course they tell you that they're not going to charge you for things like that, but they are. They're going to actually charge it to you by building it into the price that you're going to pay on the new car. So instead of paying it in one lump or a few payments, you're going to pay it over the course of your lease. I was not going to pay that kind of a crazy payment for a Hyundai. I wasn't going to do it. And I thought about it, and I said, the problem is the problem. So my son, of course, who teaches me much, as I'm sure we all will find with our children and grandchildren. They tend to teach us much if we're listening. He drives a Tesla, and he's had one for 3 years, and he loves it, and it's been a great experience for him. And he drives a lot. He does a lot of mileage, and he was extremely happy with his car, and he suggested that I test drive it and see what I thought of it. So I did. I took Ken with me, and I went to a dealership, and I told them I wanted to test drive the Model 3, which is the one I ultimately got, and the Model Y. They got me in the car, showed me a few things, and I got in the car, and I was afraid to drive it. I had never driven an all-electric car, ever. And that releasing of the accelerator and the car stopping suddenly was so alien to me that I really, after the thought, felt bad for Ken, because I said, that poor man has got to be nauseous. Because I would try to stop, and it would stop instantly, and it was not fun. But I drove around the parking lot 3 times before I ventured out onto the road. I was that afraid of it. But once I started driving it, they give you a half hour. So once I started driving it, I felt a lot more comfortable. It was an extraordinarily comfortable car to be in. The seats were great, which is good for me since I'm in the car a lot. And it was, it felt like, for the most part, it felt like you were gliding on glass, is the only way I can describe it. So it was a unique experience, and it was very, very comfortable. I then test drove the Y. I liked that one as well. And I really didn't do anything else at that point because I was kind of early on in my decision-making process. My lease wasn't quite up yet.
Take exit 32S on the right toward New York 110 South.
And I had time.
Then keep right at the fork.
So what I did was I took some time. I did think about a few other normal ICE cars, internal combustion engine cars, and ultimately made the decision to get the Tesla. The decision was based upon a lot of factors. One that was significant for me was the cost to me every month. They had really, really good rates at the time. They had a lot of things that they were giving. For example, I got 3 months of free Supercharging. I got almost 5 months of the full self-driving, which I have yet to try, and I'm going to try it very soon. And I'm going to take you with me, and I'm sure it's going to be scary to all of us. But as I say, the monthly payment was probably, hold on a second, where am I going?
Now take exit 32S on the right.
Oh my God. It went so fast, sitting here chatting with you.
Now keep right at the fork.
All right, so let me get
Now keep left at the fork.
Because I'm going to get to the charger pretty soon. All right, give me a minute just to get onto the main road here. Oh, that's amazing. It's very early on a Sunday morning, so there's not a lot of traffic. Normally there would be a lot of traffic here. By the way, this thing is not sitting right. It's going to be another not so great video with all the lighting wrong and everything, but it is what it is. I will put it out no matter what unless it's really horrific. So I wound up making the decision to get the Tesla, and I did get it. And the payment I would have had for the Hyundai would have been approximately $200 a month more than I'm paying for the Tesla. it was a no-brainer. It really was a no-brainer. So, am I happy that I got it? Absolutely, totally. I love the car. I am extremely happy driving it. It's easy to drive. I'm used to it now. And it's a great car. So I have no issues with that. There are certain things that I thought that I would hate about the car when I first got it. For example, the rear view mirror, I thought was like a toy. I thought it was ridiculous. I thought I couldn't see well enough. Totally, I was wrong. The visors, I thought the visors they looked cheap to me. Not true. I don't know what my first experience was based on, but totally not true. So one of my concerns was because I drive at night often, I was concerned about the inside of the car being very dark because I was used to a wonderful dashboard with great lighting. This thing is just moving. And this is so
In 1,000
good.
feet, take the
My
New York
apologies
27
for the
East ramp on
crappy
the right to
quality.
Montauk.
Okay, hold on for a second. I'm on my last leg of this particular part of the ride. Just have to get on to...
Now take the New York 27 East ramp on the right.
Yep, here we go. And I'll be there in just a couple of minutes. I'll pause it at that point and pick it up again once I start charging. I thought I was going to be really concerned about how dark the cabin is. Number one, they have the ambient lighting, which I had in my old car and I really liked a lot. So I like that. It's nothing new to me, but I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it tremendously. It has the huge screen in the middle of the car. I'm sure everybody by now knows what the inside of a Tesla looks like, but I will show you the screen. It's bigger, I believe, than the biggest iPad, and it just works great. I thought I would miss my heads-up display. I loved my heads-up display. I don't miss it at all because you have such a huge display that it's a total non-issue. So once again, all the
In
things
1,000 feet, turn right.
that I was concerned about turned out to be non-issues, which, by the way, is a lot like life. How much of the time do we spend worrying and dwelling on things that never come to pass? But that's a whole other topic for a whole other video, and I will discuss that with you because I've got all kinds of medical stuff to bring you up to date on. But this one was just the one about the car and what happened and why I haven't been here. I have made the videos, they just haven't made the cut because they were not good. They weren't good enough. They just weren't good enough. So I wanted to make sure I put something out that was at least worthy of being watched for those of my friends out there who have stuck with me. And great thanks to Sandy as well, because she gave me a little nudge yesterday, which I really didn't need, but I'm glad she gave it to me anyway, so thanks, Sandy.
Now turn right.
Okay, here we go. I'm hoping that the charges are not all backed up. I got here at 9:43 new time, which yesterday would have been 8:43. So we'll see. This charger is at a shopping center that has Target.
Now your destination is on the
And
right.
Target typically is, let me see what this guy is doing. Wow, it's crowded. But I did get a spot, so there you go. Okay. Let me get into my charging space. What the heck was that? Well, that was not ideal. I also love in this car, what? Oh, one of the things I don't love is in this updated 3 all-wheel drive long range, they do not have stalks. They took the stalks away. Doesn't bother me most of the time. Well, I'll tell you more about it when I come back in. Let me just start my charge because I'm very, I've never been this low. I'm down to 18%. So hang in there and I'll be right back. Okay, so now we have time because it's gonna take, it says 40 minutes. Oh, it's charging really slowly. We're at 150 kilowatts, 152, it is getting up there. Usually when you're low on charge, it charges faster. So I think I should be fine for the first part of it. And you might say, does it bother you to sit while the car is being charged? People, oh, okay. It was just telling me that I'm connected, which I know I am. What I typically do when I'm sitting here having the car charged is I will do something that I need to do. So if I'm looking for information, I will get on, I'll look for a YouTube video, because for me, it's YouTube University. I learn everything from YouTube. I think it's wonderful. Look at that, I'm up to 20% already. And I started at 18, I'm up to 21. So it doesn't bother me sitting here. I never feel the time that I'm sitting. It's actually good for me to have a little bit of downtime sometimes, because as crazy as my life is, I'm busy most of the time. I really am, and it's kind of hard sometimes. So to have a little forced downtime is not a terrible thing. On that note, we're up to 23%. It is now charging at 179 kilowatts. And that's all fine. I actually have it charging up to 90% at this point. They advise 80%. I do 80% almost all the time. Occasionally I'll do 90 just to see how much of a difference it makes in my life. I would have liked to have a home charger, but because I don't know where my home is going to be, I didn't know if I would have the capability of charging anyway. So I haven't done anything about that. I almost wish I could borrow David's because he doesn't use it, and just to see how it is for as long as I am in the house, then maybe I can. I mean, he only has the mobile charger, and it is, what is he? He said he's never used it, not once. So he has had charging at his place of residence at some points, and he has not at others, and he has done just fine with it. So again, so far my experience of this car has been wonderful. Are there any things that I don't like? Yes. One of the things, it's kind of a double-edged sword. I had to get used to the lack of a stalk. So they have the turning signals on the steering wheel, and I will take a screenshot of that, even though my steering wheel has a lot of dust on it, I just noticed. And to go right, there is a button, not a button, it's just a touch arrow on top, and the arrow on the bottom is the left turn signal. My biggest issue with it is this stupid the shifting gears on your screen. So in order to go into drive, you scroll up. To go into reverse, you scroll down, which is terrific, but it doesn't always work. Whether it's because I did put a screen protector on, but I had the same issue before I put it on. So whether it's that or whether it's something else, I don't know. But they do have this thing that they're working on that whereby the car intuitively knows whether you should be going in reverse or in drive. And if you put your foot on the brake, then it will activate that option, and you can make a decision about whether that is in fact the option for you. Let's say pulling out of my driveway. So I will I'll tap the brake, it will go into reverse, and I will back out of my driveway. When I complete the backup and I put my foot on the brake and I turn the steering wheel in the other direction, it automatically shifts gears for me into drive. When it works, that is absolutely wonderful. Doesn't work all the time. Works a lot of the time, but it doesn't work all the time. So, yeah, so that's one thing that I could live without. My gut tells me that at some point in the not too distant future, they're going to do away with that and put the stalks back in. I could be wrong, but that's just my gut on that. You do have an additional option of, you do have your gear selector in the top as well, and I'll show you a screenshot of that. So if you have to, you can use that. What else don't I like about the car? There is just so little. There is just so little. Wow, we're up to 36% already. That was very fast. It really was. The fact that I'm going up to 90% is going to take quite a bit longer, because that last part where you have a significant charge, the charging starts to slow down. So that, that's going to be it. It's not an issue, but it is what it is. Okay, so after, I think, I'm definitely going to take you with me when I attempt the full self-driving, which I want to do soon. I should have started it from the beginning, because I had a wonderful, wonderful opportunity to do that at absolutely no cost. So that is great. So I'm going to do that very, very soon. I did try it one night. I was sitting in the car with Ken, and I thought I had it set, but obviously not. And I was waiting for it to do something, and it didn't do anything. So I finally said, "Car, take us home." Well, Ken got hysterical. He got absolutely hysterical, and he doesn't let me forget it. So now whenever he gets in the car, he'll say, "Car, take us for a ride." So it is what it is. Okay, on that note, I am going to let you go while I sit here and enjoy the next 50% of this charge. I'm up to 40% at this point, which is, again, really good. All right, I will finish this one up. I'm going to, as long as it's in any way presentable, I will get it ready and I'll edit it, make sure I get it on by tonight or tomorrow at the latest. And again, it wasn't that I didn't do them. I did a lot of them. They just were not, they were just not good enough to put up. I mean, they were just in no way good enough. So I'm also trying to figure out some kind of a camera setup in the car so that you can get point of view shots, because when I do the full self-driving, I want you to see it as I see it as we're going on the road. So I'm going to try to figure something out, and we'll take it from there. In any case, I do have a lot of medical stuff to talk to you about, and some other things. And I really actually also did some shorts that I also didn't put on, because I was just not in good shape. Okay, that is my story for today. You know I love you. I'm happy to see you. I hope you're happy to see me, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. This is a shot of the, the dashboard screen, because you really have nothing else. You have only that. You have your steering wheel, and these are the indicators. And the left side of the screen is where you have the gears and you shift gears. You also have up here is where you have the gears as well. So it gives you options with it.